Hey everyone, Hannah here for Finance and Fun Stuff, and today I want to go over our June 2024 finance update. This year is absolutely flying by, and it feels like it just got started, but we are already into June, which is just absolutely nuts. If you've been following this journey on this channel for a while now, you know that we have been working really hard to get our wants down significantly on what we are spending in order to be able to save up towards getting a month ahead. That has been our primary objective in terms of our finances for the last little bit, and we have been doing good progress on that in the months prior to this. This month is going to be looking into exactly how far we get in our finances over the last 30 days and see if we were able to hit the targets that we wanted to hit. So our net worth is sitting at a little over $2,100 currently, and this is a decrease of about $2,000 over the last month's net worth. And that definitely is a big decrease, I'm not going to lie, but there is a pretty significant reason for that we will get into our spending totals. And I don't feel too bad about that decrease because it was something that we absolutely wanted to do. And I think it was something that is going to be enriching for not just our lives, but beneficial for other people. But alas, we did take a pretty significant hit in our net worth. And this is even with our investments doing decently well over the last 30 days. When looking at the trend of our net worth over the past 6 months, you can see that we are doing pretty well and we are staying at least flat, if not going up a little bit over the months. But this month definitely is the outlier with a big downward trend. And everything about this month is actually going to be an outlier, as you'll be seeing once we get into our spending totals. Which, speaking of which, let's go ahead and transition into that now. This is the part of the video where you get to see exactly how much money we spent on everything that we spent money on over the last 30 days. And it's great to be able to get to the nitty-gritty of exactly where our money is going. So looking at our main spending chart here, where this is for all of our category groups, we could see that needs but can vary is easily the #1 spot here. A quick note is that we do not put our monthly fixed bills like rent, electricity, things like that on here. So we instead take that off because I don't feel like that's a good judge of how our months are going, because those monthly expenses are going to be the same no matter what. So the highest one is typically our needs but can vary. That's going to be things like groceries and other items like that. But this month it is pretty crazy and it's sitting over $3,000. And I want to dig into that, into the nitty gritty of exactly why this account is so much and why this category has ballooned so much over the last 30 days. So the reimbursements is the biggest chunk of this section by a long shot. And that is because we decided to give a friend a loan who was in a tough spot and needed a little bit of money to get by for the next couple of months. So we decided to give them the money for now, and then they will pay us back over the next few months. And this was a great decision for us to make because we really wanted to help this person out who was struggling. And that at the end of the day is all that I want to be able to do in terms of our financial future, is to be able to take care of ourselves when the need arises and to be able to hopefully help others in the process as well. And so lending out some money in the short term is doing exactly that. So unfortunately, this money has left our account for a little while, but it's not going to be leaving it forever because that person will be paying us back slowly over the next few months. So when circling back to our net worth of it going down around $2,000, you could see that if we hadn't done that extensive loan to somebody for $2,500, our net worth would have actually increased by $500. So I still feel really good about where we're at in terms of that. Everything else in the needs but can vary. It's just pretty much the normal stuff like groceries and everything, but even the groceries super duper low. So I think we did really great in the last 30 days with curbing our spending, and I think it really shows here on the spending totals. The next biggest category group on here is going to be wellness. It's about $600, and that is mainly from my therapy sessions. So therapy for me is something that gets billed kind of quarterly. With the way that their office does their billing, it's a little bit strange, and checks kind of sit around for a while. So it takes a while for payments to go through. So we end up making payments about quarterly on this, and so that does amount to a larger sum of money. And then Sage's amount is kind of like a fixed $75 a month. But for mine, it can vary, and it can be zero for a while, and then all of a sudden I pay $400. So it's definitely a variable expense on here. So this was definitely an outlier in terms of our wellness category. Next, you could see our Us Wants category on here at about $278. And this was a lot of eating out actually over the last 30 days. It was about $200 worth of eating out. And the majority of this comes from our anniversary. So our anniversary is something that we do value for celebrating. And because we value that, we did end up spending a bit of money on that. But this was money that we had budgeted out, and Sage wanted to take some of her personal wants money as well to use towards us being able to have a nicer anniversary weekend together. And so we did just that, but we stayed within our budget almost entirely for that, and we used just the money we had planned for that. So I feel pretty good about spending that money, although our eating out definitely could have curbed down a little bit over the last 30 days for darn sure. So that about wraps it up for the spending totals for the last 30 days. All in all, I think it was really very positive. And like I mentioned, if it wasn't for the fact that that loan was in there, it would have been a significantly better spending total session. And when we look at it as if that is not part of the group, it actually ends up being a really good month for us. And I think regardless of the fact that we were able to do this loan to somebody that we care about, when we take a look at exactly how much we're spending on a daily basis, I think we're doing great. And the fact that we had the ability to look at our budget and go, you know what? Yeah, we can afford to help somebody in a bad situation. It really makes us feel good that we are doing so well that we are able to help others, because at the end of the day, that is something that we extremely value. And although we may have stretched ourselves a little bit too much to be able to make that happen within such a short notice, I do feel good about being able to extend a helping hand to others, especially when it's only going to be affecting us for the short term. Because we have our budget built up in such a way, we can afford to take a little bit of a hit in the short term because we know that we're going to get it back in a few months. And even at the end of the day, if we didn't get the money back, we would still survive. And a lot of people can't say that. And I'm grateful for all of the budgeting work that myself and my wife have done over the past few years to be able to get to the point where we can do things like that and be able to think more about how we want to live our lives and how we want to enrich the world, rather than whether or not we're going to be able to pay rent. So I'm very grateful for the position we are at within our finances at this moment. So our previous goals is what we're looking at next. So these are the goals we set on the previous month's finance update, and we're going to see if we were able to hit them over the last 30 days. So the main one here was to hit a month ahead in our finances. In the zero-based budgeting system, we use an app called YNAB to do that. There is a way to be able to budget out a full month ahead with the money that you have, so that way the money that you're getting from your current paychecks gets sent towards the next month, so that way you're always having a month buffer. And this is something we thought we could get really, really close to, if not hit this month, so we went ahead and made that our goal. Unfortunately, we did not hit that this month. However, if we were to take into account that reimbursement was not on here, we would have very well hit this. So I feel really good about the fact that we would have gotten it anyway. And we were able to make that decision and say, you know what, as much as we would like to be able to have that full 30-day buffer, we are at a point where we don't necessarily feel like that's the most important thing, and being able to help somebody out is more important to us. So we made that kind of game time decision and decided that we would wait on being able to be a month ahead for another month or two until that person is able to pay us back, because that way we can make sure that we are able to do all of the things that we want to do in the meantime. And we do have a busier month coming up in June. So unfortunately, we're not going to end up being a full month ahead as of at this very moment. But again, we are still working towards it actively. And it's not like we are living paycheck to paycheck by any means. And our age of money does sit at around 20 days at this current moment. And we do have plenty of money in liquid investments that we could use if we needed to, although we obviously don't want to touch that. It does feel good to have a security blanket in terms of that while we are kind of getting through this period right now where we're waiting for more money to come through. The second goal we had set for ourselves was to have our income above our expenses. So this is something that we have been working towards over the past few months, and this month we really wanted to make sure that our income level stayed above our expenses. And in the last 30 days, I'm happy to say that we did that, if you take the condition of not having the loan based in the income versus expense sheet. If you put the loan that we gave to our friend in there, unfortunately we are below that. But because that is a significant outlier and it is money that is going to be returned to us within a short time frame, I don't feel like that is conducive to the amount of money that we actually spent. And I don't think it's fair to completely look at it like we didn't make any progress at all on this, because if you take that out of the equation, we smashed through it by around $1,300 in our income being above our expenses. So at the end of the day, I'm giving this a check because I do think that we were still doing the correct things and our spending habits were right in line where we wanted them to be. And at the end of the day, that is what is most important. And we are ending up hitting our goals, which is what we really want. And next, we're going to be looking at our goals for the month of June. This is always an exciting time as we are looking at our finances over the next 30 days. Kind of want to make a plan of what we can get done in the next 30 days and set a couple goals that are while a little bit difficult to hit, are something that we can reach and are attainable and are something that we want to do. So the very first one here is to keep all food spending under $450. So you remember back in the beginning of the video, I was talking about our eating out budget was around $200 and our grocery budget was around $300. So that's about $500. I'm hoping to be able to reduce that this month down to $450. I would be a little bit more ambitious with this goal, but we do have a bit of traveling that's going on over the next 30 days, and traveling is inherently expensive, even if it's to family or friends' houses, because there is inevitably going to be additional money spent because you don't have your own kitchen, can't use the groceries that are in your pantry, things of that nature. So I'm saying that 450 is a great goal for us to have combined between groceries and eating out. The second goal we are setting for ourselves is to purchase our rental car for the beach. In September, we go on a beach vacation with Sage's family, and we have bought the flights for that, but we still need to get the rental car in order to make that trip entirely happen. So I'm hoping that within the next 30 days, we can get to a point where we can buy that rental car so we can know that we are safe and secure for that, and that the trip is going to be that much easier when it comes around because we'll be already prepared. This is one that I think we will get to, but it is definitely going to be more of the stretch of this month's goals. So that's all I have to say for this month's finance update. I think the last 30 days were something that we did really well on in terms of our finances, and even if we are to include the loan that we gave to a friend on here, that is still really good, I think, for what the last 30 days was, and it's great that we were in a position to be able to offer somebody help when they desperately needed it, and we were able to weather the storm and not completely lose our asses on being able to give out a decent chunk of money. And when that money does inevitably return to us, it will help us out significantly and bolster us forward above what we were even at before. As always, if you enjoy seeing our financial journey, you're going to want to make sure you are subscribed so that way you can see these monthly finance updates every single month when I put them out. If you enjoyed this video, definitely leave it a like as it will help this video grow and spread around YouTube, and I always appreciate that. And last but not least, I'd love to hear about your financial journey down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear about how your finances have changed in the last 30 days and what your goals are for the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care. Even if that money was to completely exit our... my face.